Hi everyone, we're back with another episode. Now today I have two of my students here with me, both of whom want to be martial arts instructors in the future. And so today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of me answering your questions, I'm going to put these two on the spot and they're going to answer a couple of mine. And I'll answer them as well after they finish answering them. And then I'll highlight the importance behind these questions, why these questions are really valuable for you guys that are thinking about starting your own schools, to take the time to actually answer them yourself. So here's the first question. When did you know you wanted to be a martial arts instructor and why? What was it that helped you come to that decision?
I realized I wanted to be a teacher about a year into karate.
So it took you a little time to get hooked, right?
Yeah.
Before that you were doing what other activities?
Lacrosse.
Dance. Anything? Did you do soccer? We got a lot of soccer players here. No? But you had a lot of activities. Dance was multiple times a week, right?
Yeah.
How many times?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay. And now after a year, what happened? How many times were you doing dance?
Twice or so.
Twice a week. And those other activities? Pretty much gone, most of them?
Most of them.
And all of a sudden you went from coming like once or twice a week to at least 3 times a week, and now you do like at least 10 classes. So why was it initially you decided, this is what I want to do? What was the motivating factor?
I just figured it was the best way that I could do karate all the time.
So you were addicted and you said, this is it. If I'm a martial arts instructor, I have my own school, I can do this 24/7. That sounds pretty good to me, right? That was your thinking? Okay. Now, how did it happen? Actually, just to take a moment here, this is not our first take of this. The first time we went through this, we got interrupted. We got 1 year for you. How about you, young sir?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes. You just knew. So that actually...
Basically, I saw you and I said, I want to be like him.
He's going places. He knows the right things to say. When is that black belt test scheduled? I think we got to move it closer.
Oh, no.
Can
we move it farther
Oh,
away?
sure. Whatever you want right now. So now we know when you started, it was kind of your first impression. You saw what I was doing. You said, I want to do this. That kind of inspired you and motivated you. Do you want to elaborate a little beyond that?
Sure. So, I just saw that you were making classes fun but also educational for everybody in the class. Even the people that had been there since even when you started.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier too, the beginners too, right?
Beginners.
So all levels you felt, even if it were a mixed class, and we have classes that separate people too, but we have some mixed classes, and you felt like everyone was getting something out of that class.
Yeah, because it was an open class, and even the kids in the front row and the back row, everybody learned something.
Okay. That sounds pretty good to me. I like his answers. Not that I don't like your answers. So I guess the next thing is, now you've wanted to be a martial arts instructor for a while. What do you think? Have you thought about the teaching side of it? What attracts you to teaching? Perhaps, what do you think the best part of being a teacher would be for you? Is there something you look forward to in that end?
Watching the kids grow as martial artists and as they grow up.
Just kind of seeing them evolve.
Yeah.
And you've experienced this, right? There was a young student that you assisted with, had been with us for years, and she thought of you as what? Like a big sister, right? Wasn't that the words? And
Yep.
so that, and it kind of embarrasses you a little, but it's a good feeling at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
To know that you have that sort of influence. How about you? Is there that a lot of us, that's a big part of it. Is there anything else beyond that you see?
Just like spreading the influence that martial arts has on people, like
Right.
the self-discipline that people gain through learning.
So you recognize the values beyond just learning self-defense that martial arts has, and you want to continue to spread those. Okay. So, that a lot of this is in line with what motivated me. I fell in love with teaching before martial arts. I got into martial arts about 15 minutes in. I knew I wanted to be a martial arts instructor. And then when you start assisting and when you start teaching, you start to feel those things. And a few years ago actually, I went to give a talk at a high school to kids for career day. They invited me to come speak. And I remember talking to you guys first, one of you guys might have even been in the class and I was saying, all right, I've never done this before. Ask me some questions. I don't know what they're going to ask. And I thought it was great. One person asked me, what do you think the best part of your job is? And that was easy. Connecting with the students, connecting with the class, feeling the energy when everything's going right. You're not outside of that. Great teachers, I think, connect with that energy. They become a part of it, and that's what keeps the class flowing in the right direction. So to me, that's the best feeling you can get. You know, when you experience that, that's a high like no other. And then I was also asked, though, see, that was the easy part to answer, but I was asked, what do you think the worst part of your job is? And I couldn't answer that. What would you guys say to that one? What do you think? Worst thing in teaching?
Probably the exact opposite of what you said, when they just don't seem to care at all about what you're saying.
So you're not connecting. Would you agree?
Yeah, and also, like, when the kids aren't really, like, when you're trying to teach, like, more advanced stuff to an open class, so that the older, more experienced kids can learn something that they haven't learned before, and the younger kids just aren't getting it, and you're trying to help them.
So sometimes it's a matter of
They're
understanding.
not able to get it.
Yeah, and that would be an issue if that's happened, and I haven't seen that. That would be an issue of identifying, okay, they're not ready to learn that. We got to take a step back. Or it could be an issue where it is a disconnect, where maybe they're not paying attention when it's being taught, if it's some of the younger kids. So sometimes it's that disconnect if you're not able to get the information across. And part of the job, of course, is figuring out how to get that information across in different ways to connect with different students, which could be the challenge there too, when a student just doesn't seem like they're getting it. And those are challenges, but hopefully with that regard, if it's a student that just doesn't get it, that's a challenge that's kind of exciting to try to overcome it with that student. If you've pushed them too far beyond what they can handle, got to step back a little. And when you're just not connecting, I would agree. And it's funny, I didn't think of that when I was asked that question. I really couldn't think of an answer, to be honest. But I would agree, it is difficult when you just can't connect with the energy of the class. And in those times, it can be pretty tough trying to push forward with the class when you just don't feel like it's going anywhere. So yeah, that might be one of the more difficult areas of the job. So why am I asking these guys these questions, and why do I think they're valuable for you to think about? We've talked about marketing, getting clear on your core values. Well, you have to get clear on why it is you even want to push forward with trying to start a martial arts school in the first place. Certainly people jump into different business opportunities because they see just that, an opportunity to make money. But that's not how I got in it. And that's not how a lot of people I know got in it. A lot of people get in it because they love the martial arts. They want to spread the values. And they see tremendous value for others and for themselves taking that particular path. And so my advice as we close out this episode, get clear on why it is you want to start your school at all. Whether it's a side program or whether you want your own location, whether you want a big school, a small school, it doesn't matter. Getting clear on what motivates you and why you want to take your life in that direction is really important to your success. So that'll be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Keep the questions coming, and we'll see you soon.